Incidents and disasters can strike any time and anywhere. Contingency planning for emergencies will assure your information will be available when you need it. Information assurance teams should work closely with other personnel to design contingency plans. Close allies should include information technology teams, security teams, and administration teams, particularly the champions, the CEO, and directors who can help drive the teams forward. There are three common contingency plans. An incident recovery plan focuses on the recovery to a single incident. It's an immediate response, but it can escalate to a full-scale disaster recovery plan if needed. The disaster recovery plan focuses on restoring systems at the original site after a disaster occurs. The business continuity plan takes over or begins concurrently if it's decided that the damage is too major or long-term to resume operations on the site. It establishes operations at an alternate site. This is sometimes needed if the disaster becomes too out of hand. These images show such an example. The National Personnel Records Center in St. Louis, Missouri caught on fire in July of 1973. The disaster was so complete that millions upon millions of veterans' records were nearly destroyed, either by the fire or the resulting water that was poured upon the building for 4 days straight in an attempt to put out the fire. 40 years later, the salvage operation continues by conservation technicians. These records are of utmost importance to veterans. According to FEMA, an incident is an occurrence caused by human or natural phenomena that requires actions in response to prevent or minimize loss of life or damage to property and or the environment. Examples of this could be fires, natural disasters, even contagious diseases, hazardous materials, or arson and other crimes. This image shows an example of straight-line winds in the bank building in downtown Indianapolis. It's hard to believe that straight-line winds can cause such extensive damage. In the terms of information assurance, any clearly identified attack on the organization's information assets that would threaten assets' confidentiality, integrity, or availability. This fire-damaged computer, an emergency is the more common type of incident. It's an unplanned incident that requires you to secure your operations and protect assets. Emergencies require immediate response, but usually losses are limited compared to those from a disaster. Broken pipes, system crashes, bomb threats even. Severe storms. Here are some images of damaged documents from water pipes. Emergencies seldom require you to set up operations in another location. They can be handled within. Disasters, on the other hand, are incidents that progress from the realm of standard operational procedures and move to conditions requiring resources beyond your means. Disasters result in significant financial and operational damage to an agency with potential for serious injury or loss of life. These can include fire, floods, tornadoes, even terrorist bombings. Courthouse fires are a common disaster in the United States, going back as far as the early 1800s. These are images of the courthouse fire in Madison, Indiana, just a couple of years ago. An incident becomes a disaster when an organization is unable to mitigate the impact of an incident as it's happening, or the level of damage or destruction is so severe that the organization is unable to recover quickly. Tornadoes are a prime example of this type of damage. There's an image of a factory that was destroyed. There are 4 phases of emergency management: mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. The idea behind mitigation is to eliminate or reduce the probability of loss during an emergency. You want to eliminate or lessen the impact of threats. Conduct a risk analysis and a facility self-assessment. Ensure proper management and storage of records. Eliminate loss during an emergency. From an information assurance standpoint, IA professionals can help analyze the risk to data and infrastructure, not just from a technological standpoint, from a broader organizational holistic approach. Preparedness means that you're in a position to respond if an emergency does occur. You want to include training activities, develop, test, and update disaster plans such as COOP and REAP. Develop an essential records program. Test emergency systems. Train your personnel. Stock up on supplies. Develop agreements with vendors who can assist or offer mutual aid. FEMA makes many of these suggestions and more on their websites. Other information assurance professionals offer similar suggestions, particularly in the means of electronic records and recovery. From an information assurance standpoint, you want to develop contingency planning processes, conduct business impact analysis, identify preventative controls for your servers and other technological equipment, develop recovery strategies, develop a contingency plan. Where are your hotspots? Where are you going to go in an emergency? Plan, test, train, have exercises. Where will you meet? Also, maintain your plans. Keep up with changes to staff and vendors. NIST offers a 7-step contingency planning process. COSA also offers a pocket response plan called PREP, which you can develop for all of your employees. Just to review, a good information assurance program will enhance the mitigation and preparedness phases of all types of contingency planning. These programs are vital to an organization. Risk analysis, facility assessments, business impact analysis, and recovery strategies will reveal the security, technological, and infrastructure needs of an institution. The reports can be used to support IA's requests for appropriate hardware, software, and personnel. The champions or managers of an organization can use these to ask for more money in the budgets from those who hold the purse strings too. Installation of durable software and equipment will lessen or eliminate the impact of incidents, emergencies, and disasters. Implementation of strong security programs will help prevent intrusion incidents as well. Using features such as off-site backups and cloud storage can ensure that data will be available even if the original servers are destroyed in the event of cyber attacks, emergencies, or natural disasters. Contingency planning is the only assurance information in the event of an emergency. Start your incident recovery planning, disaster planning, and business contingency planning now.